Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Friday, October 10th, 2025. I, of course, am here with your mortgage rate update, talking about what's going on in the mortgage market. We'll wrap up what's going on here this Friday, talk about what's going on next week. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching the replay, do me a favor. Just let me know by putting hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Remember, if you want to join me live and you'd like a quick text reminder, you could sign up for that at hmmr.io. That's hmmr.io/reminder, or use this cool QR code over here if you would like a quick reminder. I send out a quick text message each morning when I'm going live, so you don't have to worry about finding the link or depending on Facebook or YouTube to notify you that I'm live. When you're here, don't forget to smash that like button or subscribe. Make sure that you comment. Love your comments. And let's go ahead and say hi to all the live folks, and then we'll jump in and get started to talk about what we got going on this morning. So good morning, Rob Smith, Robert Bashirs, Tim Kyla. Great to see all of you here, my friends. Yes, Mr. Bashirs, today is wedding eve. I'll be doing a couple of things this morning, and then I'll be getting ready for the rehearsal dinner. We're doing it redneck style. I will be cooking for the rehearsal dinner because of the location that we have. We have a beautiful place where we can have about 50, 60 people. So we've invited, all the out-of-towners and everything, and we're going to do kind of a rehearsal cookout. We're going to have burgers and dogs and chicken and chips and just a very simple spread for all the out-of-towners and all the friends to come in the night before after we do the rehearsal. So we will be doing the actual quick rehearsal so everybody knows where they're going, and then we'll do the rehearsal dinner, and tomorrow's the big event. And then Sunday morning I will be cooking breakfast for the we're calling it brunch, but it's at 9 a.m. So that's a straight up breakfast. If it doesn't happen after 10, can you even call it brunch? So I've got 120 eggs, and a bunch of other things, a couple pounds of bacon and some sausage and all that stuff to be cooking up. So we'll be having a grand old time. So yeah, thanks for remembering, my friend. Good morning, Mike Tebow, Bill Stevens, Mallory Fotiadis, Rob Stewart, Tiffany Teal, Deb Dickinson, Monica Dinkins. And I'm sure I mentioned this, by the way, I will be performing the ceremony. I am the one that's actually marrying my son and soon to be daughter-in-law. So, which is kind of cool. So I'm just kind of fleshing out some of the last minute things that I want to add to that, and we'll have a grand old time. So, all right, my friends, well, welcome all, one and all, and let me get to the captions, and let's go ahead and get started. We'll jump in with what we got going on this morning. All right, so taking a look here, mortgage-backed securities, 21 basis points up on the day. There's a net rollover. Today's a bond rollover. It's October 10th. So when MBS Live does this, though, this is usually the net, and that means that we are going to see should see better rate sheets this morning. So if we take a look, hold on, let me move this on the side screen here. Let me see. If we take a look, we ended the day yesterday. Yeah. So we ended the day yesterday at 100.85, and that was down 17 basis points on the day. It was, but if we take a look at that, we're 100.85 is where we ended the day. Now we're at 100. So but there's about a 10 basis point rollover in there. So this looks like they've got that as a net difference. So this is what we should see on the rate sheet, which will help to recover yesterday's losses. We were down 17 basis points yesterday. So looking at rate sheets, yesterday, again, it wasn't a big difference. You would go 6.36, then we were at 6.38. That means this morning, we're probably going to go back to 6.36. So you'll see some small difference in improvements in rate sheets. I don't really know what's causing this improvement. 10-year Treasury yield has also dropped. That was yesterday at 4.14, and now it's at 4.10. So could be something. I mean, it could be something that we're doing over here with Argentina. and what's going on there. It could have something to do with Japan. There's nothing really clear this morning and no clear reason on why we're seeing the improvement. So it's just kind of bond drift, as I call it. We're still very much in this sideways, pattern that we have. We're right here. So I mean, we're right smack in the middle of it. So we're right here in that range. Really not anything that kind of changes anything up. So um, that's kind of it. There's really not a lot. So what do we got going into next week? I mean, when it comes into next week, we're going to have kind of the same old, same old. Good morning, Brandy Brickler, Almir, Amy, Matt. Great to have all of you here. Mike, grill your chicken with Kikkoman soy sauce. Actually, I am grilling chicken thighs that will have been soaking in Italian dressing, and they're freaking awesome that way, dude. You should try it. Good morning, Max Franks. So anyway, taking a look here. I mean, what do we got going as we head into next week? I'm even going to turn the screen up. We're going to have the government shutdown. We most likely will see the shutdown all week. Remember, we would have gotten inflation data next week. We would have gotten CPI and PPI, the consumer price index, producer price index, consumer and wholesale inflation data next week. Very, very good chance that we're not going to see a breakthrough yet. I'm not seeing a lot of articles about this government shutdown. There doesn't appear to be a lot of pain yet. I think this thing will last for at least a month before we really get to something happening. Some missed paychecks. I do know that it does appear to have affected travel in some of the bigger airports. Even though they're not supposed to call out, they do. And at a certain point, people are like, I don't have the money to pay my daycare, so I'm going to take off and take care of my kids. That may or may not happen. We'll see where all that goes. So it's next week. There's really not a lot that's going to happen. It's going to all still focus on that. Tariffs have taken a back seat. We're not really seeing anything new on that. That hasn't really been a market mover. There's no reason to expect rates to improve dramatically. If we do see rates improve, it's going to be like what you're seeing here on the, when we look at rate sheets here, it's going to be like what you're seeing here. We're going to be very much, we may get back to 6.34. Again, using Mortgage News Daily as the reference point on this. There's not a huge move in rates. Look at how solid everything has been. The best rates that we saw were right as we were going into the Fed meeting, and that was the absolute best rate sheet. And then, right after that, we kind of popped up that day, and then we've been up at 6.37. And for 3 weeks, this is where we've been. We've seen rates that have been extremely stable. A lot of that is because there's really no change in expectations for the Fed rate cut. This is the October cut. It's expected. When we go to December, and we take a look at December, again, 80%. We've been running right around that 80% mark that's expected there. Heading into March. So right now, this is where we're at. This would be one cut. This would be two cuts. This would be three cuts, and the outlier of four cuts. Markets basically are pricing in that we'll have seen a third cut by March, but they're not convinced of it. I mean, you're barely at a 50%, a little over 50% that we would have 3 or 4 cuts by then. So, we could draw a line right here. That's a pretty big. So that's, as long as we don't see any real change to any of this, you're not going to see rates change. We're not getting any data that can move anything. We're not getting inflation data. We're not getting jobs data, not getting labor data. The Fed meeting at the end of the month will probably happen. I'm sorry, let me clarify. It will definitely happen, but we'll probably still see, there's a very good chance we could still see the shutdown by then. And then there'll be a lot of, well, what are you going to do? And what do you think? And there'll be a lot of those questions. Until then, we're just going to see drift, just going to see bond drift, and you'll see rate sheets that are, plus and minus a little bit. Not an urgency to lock, but anything that's closing in a couple of weeks, there's not a lot of chance for improvement. Today may be a pretty good rate sheet. Even on a Friday, it might be a really good rate sheet. Might be a good time to just lock a loan or two if you've got it closing in the next couple of weeks. because we don't know what next week will bring. You never know what next week will bring, right? So over the weekend. Otherwise, that's kind of it, my friends. Max said Air Force Son is PCSing from Vegas to Anchorage. He isn't getting paid currently. Thank goodness for savings. Yeah, it just, and that's the thing. Again, I don't want to get too far down the road. I understand all sides. I don't like that budgets are used as a, okay, whatever issue we are fighting on right now, we're going to hold the budget hostage until you give in on this issue. um, I don't like that, but I also don't like the fact that I think all these politicians, they, everyone else is just pawns in the system. And they're more concerned about who's going to get blamed and how it'll affect the next elections, the midterm elections, than they are actually worried about solving the problem and improving the country. You can argue that they are worried about it, but it's optics more than I don't think there's true concern. I really don't. So, but anyway, enough on that. I don't want to get down politics. I can tell you, this administration, it really does weigh on you, as far as it's like all we talk about all the time. You're either for Trump or against Trump, or for these things or against it. I don't want to be for or against anything. I'm just here, So for me, it's a celebratory weekend. We're going to go out and have a great time. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Let me know in the comments, what are y'all doing? Would love to hear about it. Giddy up, Mr. Randy Tico. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, Mike, the Italian dressing is good. I'll tell you why, because the acid in it gets down and breaks down some of the toughness in the chicken, so it really makes it good. What are y'all doing this weekend? Let me know in the comments. Again, my kid's getting married, so that'll take up my weekend, and that's it. So hope y'all have a fantastic one. I will see you on Monday. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.